Sunday, guys. Good morning. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. MK84 crash. This guy's the first one here. Hopefully there'll be more. But I do appreciate you guys joining me on the Sunday. It's been a while since I streamed, and I guess life has kind of just gotten in the way. The warmer weather here in the east, things to do outside, stuff like that. Weekends kind of occupied with warm weather things. But in any event, it's time for a update on where we did, how we did last month, the VR Aviation group, and a few other things. And you know, basically, we're gonna do a nice flight here with the SR20. Haven't flown the SR20 in a while. We're gonna be flying to one of the newer FBOs that we have in the Eastern network, and we've had quite an expansion in the Eastern network over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about all the changes and stuff in the group and give everybody an update of where we are. And looking forward to that. So let's start with the plan for today. Let me pull this up here. So we're going to be taking, we got 3 passengers in the SR20. And we're going to be flying to Garrett County Airport in Maryland, Oakland, Maryland. This is one of the newer FBOs. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, it's about 170. So it's a 175-mile trip. So hopefully we'll make it in there a little over an hour in the SR20 if we push the pedal to the metal. We've got a billiard hustler and 2 baseball scouts going out there. We're just going to do a single flight today out there, and then I'll return the plane probably later on tonight or something. But in any event, that's the plan for today. If we take a look at Sky Vector, we're coming from 33N Delaware, which is our 2-lot FBO here, just just west of our new FBO, KWWD Wildwood, which we'll talk about in a second. We're going to be flying over Baltimore area, and then we're going to get up into the Appalachians. I guess these are the Appalachians. Going to fly at 5,000, and at Garrett we're coming in at 3,000, 2933, so about 3,000 feet. And it's a really nice airport on a plateau. It's kind of a cool landing. If you haven't flown out there yet, it's a cool place to fly. Definitely one you want to check out. And we'll have some nice mountain views and stuff like that. So that's the plan, 175.3 miles. And in the good old vFlyteAir SR20, which is actually, I'm running release 2.6, which is the newer release that has all the VR updates. And we'll talk about that a little bit. vFlyteAir did a nice job updating that plane, getting it VR ready, if you will. And there's still one thing that I'm trying to figure out how to do, but pretty much everything else is pretty solid, so which is good. So that's the plan for today, and guess what we could do is get the plane cranked up, ready to go. Let's figure out how much gas we're going to need. We're going 175 here, so let me go back to this. So we've got 3 passengers, right? Oops. 3 passengers, so max fuel is going to be 42 gallons. We already got 30 in there. Let's just call it 200 to be safe. And we're going to need 13 gallons, so 30 should be fine. Yeah, we should be fine there. I mean, I could add another 10 gallons, but I think we'll be, actually, you know what, let's just do that. Let's just add another 10 gallons. What the hell? The fuel goes to RFBO anyway, so might as well have the fuel. There we go. So we're good to go there. And all we need to do now is start up that plane and get the passengers loaded, and we'll be on our way. So let's see here. Boom. Appreciate you guys joining today. Thank you. Have any questions? Let me get my chat window up here. Sorry. Back in the plane here. Well, actually, let's check out the SR20. Wonderful plane in VR. Really nice lines and nice graphic detail. I have to tell you that Laminar Research has done a couple of updates with X-Plane in the last week or so that I think have really enhanced the graphics in VR. You know, it could be placebo effect, but I get a sense that there's a enhancement in the graphics. You see here, one of the updates is now you can place yourself in the plane using the teleporting, which is nice. And they also now have these X-Pad holders, which I'm not sure if I'm fond of them, but I don't know where else they would have put them. I guess that's the best place to put them. You know, it's kind of like, it's not in the way, I guess, too much, so not too bad. Anyway, let's get this plane started up here. First, let me get my chat in here. All right, back to X-Plane. We should be good there. I'll adjust it later if I have to. Yeah, it is running. It's running great. No, today I'm running the I'm flying my Bambino Games livery. I don't have a VR Aviation livery for the SR20 yet. That's my next one I'm probably going to be doing. Yeah, I saw that Milo's having crashes. I haven't. I've been fine with the new releases. So, but in any event, let's get this bird started here. So we're going to get our batteries on. Okay, and we get our mixture in, and we get our gas to about 3/4, and let's get to clear prop. Oops. What am I doing wrong here? Fuel pump's on. Should be able to start it up, right? Wow, not starting up. That's weird. What am I missing? Do I have to have an alternator on? Fuel pressure. Okay, so I'm having problems with the fuel. Oh, let's see. Problem is with the tank, I didn't have the tank selected, so it was purely cold and dark. All right, so let's get to that. And we don't need the alternator on yet. We should be good now. There you go. Beautiful. Yeah, it was the fuel. Okay, so that's good. Let that plane warm up a little bit. Let's get our alternators on, our avionics on. I don't like the way that they did this with the motion that you use to turn on the switches. Is you click the switch and you flick your wrist. I guess it's okay. It's kind of, before you could just basically put the touch controller on the switch. So not sure how much I like that, but in any event, yeah. Hey B2, yeah, I didn't have the fuel. It helps to have the fuel on. All right, so plane warming up. Now I'm gonna have to put my flight plan in here. Let's see, flight plan. The one thing that they don't have anymore is you used to be able to click right here by this SD card slot, and it would pull up a desktop menu that you could load an FMS plan in. You can't do that anymore. I cannot figure out how to do that. So we are basically now having to do it with the console, which is fine. So we're going to go, let's see, a fixed point, and we're going to go to Jackson, J, and, come on. A's tough to get there, X, and U, M. Okay, that's our first waypoint. We're going to hit enter, and we'll hit clear, and that'll be our first one. Get our cursor again, scroll down, and here we're going to go to 2 and sorry, 2G4, sorry, my bad. Where's backspace? Backspace. 2. Oh, sorry, I want to go to airport. 2. Come on. G4. It's Garrett. Enter. I'm not going to worry about altitude. I'll just do that manually, and then we'll go clear, and we have our flight plan in there. Beautiful. All right, so then we go to flight plan again. We're back to the our MFD map, which is great. And there's our flight plan loader right there. And we're good to go. Now let's go to, we're going to fly to 5,000. We already have that set. So what I'd like to do here is turn on the flight director and put nav on. And this way I could just turn on the autopilot. So then I'm going to put yaw damper on. I'm going to go vertical speed, and we'll climb her at, just basically turn your wrist here. We'll climb at 600 feet per minute. We should probably go a little faster than that. 700 feet per minute. That'll get us up to 5,000. And then we should be good to go. All right. We want our CDI to GPS. And there we have our first waypoint, which is Jackson. 169 miles, so that's all checks out. So we've got our flight plan ready to go. Cool. All right, let's get that door closed. All right. Buckle in safe. And we're going to be taking off runway, I believe it's, I want to say it's 27, but I'll just verify here. Yeah, 27. We'll be taking off 27. So we got, let's set our frequency. So our frequency is 123.075. Setcom 1, 123.075. Setcom 1, 123.075.
Com 1 set to 123.075.
Okay, let's see if we got, how many ATIS here? Alright, that's fine. So we're going to assume clear weather. And taxi. It's kind of a weird taxi because the old runway is closed. This is actually the FBO building that M9 Aviation created for the group. It's got the VR Aviation logo on it and stuff, and the planes in the hangar. We'll see it once we get on the runway. So we're going to taxi to set the 27, take off to the west, and depart the pattern. So, Aki, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Good Sunday morning again. So we're at Delaware. We'll just call it Delaware. It's Delaware Air Park, but Delaware is just easier. Delaware traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta taxiing from GA parking to runway 27, Delaware. All right, here we go. Oh, big important thing. Load up what do you call it? FSEconomy. All right, so take my word that FSEconomy is loaded. and checked. Cool. You can follow along the flight up there in the upper left-hand corner. All right, we're good to go. So let's do our taxi. I guess I could have gone on there. I'll just go this way. It's fine. Yeah, so M9 did a custom design of this airport. If you want to check it out, it's on, I believe it's on X-Plane.org 33N. If you want to get it, it's got the VR Aviation building and logos and stuff, which is kind of cool. And once I get this bird in the air, we're going to go over the details of how last month went. It was a damn good month for us. Yeah, I'm kind of taking the long route here. Got to go get over to that other. Yeah, I know B2's got that reminder script for FSEconomy if you're running Fly with Lua. I don't run Fly with Lua, although I've been tempted to go back to doing it just to see, because it would be really nice to have that script. And also XP Realistic for the sounds. I wouldn't use the head bobbing, because I'm finding that in VR, like most of the planes have decent, the VR ready planes
approaching runway 27.
Thank you. Have a nice
entered runway 27. 4,100 feet remaining.
All right, we got to do our run up here. Set parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Okay, let's see here. So let's get to 1,700. I know we're a little close to the runway to do the run up, but let's check the right magneto. We're going down to 1,600. Beautiful. Back to both. 17. And we go to left. All right. No sputtering or anything, which is good. Back to both. So plugs are good. Back to idle. They did fix the idle problem. Before this plane, when you brought the throttle all the way back, it would come down to like a sputtering, and now it idles pretty nicely at like 700 RPM, which is nice. So it's yeah, some definitely VR ready. Every single key, every single dial works with VR now on this plane, including you can. I thought you could grab. I guess you can't. I thought you were able to grab the yoke. I thought you could, but I guess you. Oh, I might have it off. I think I have it turned off because I don't really use that. So in any event, oh no, wait. You can't turn it off. It's either on. It's always on. So I guess they don't have that capability to fly the plane with the touch controller. I'll have to check into that. In any event. Delaware traffic, Cirrus 32A Tango down to departing runway 27. We'll be departing the pattern to the west, Delaware. So far, frames are running nice and smooth. And you got to remember, I have a lot of stuff running here. Right? I've got the air server running for the iPad and a bunch of windows open. So I'm trying to conserve on that. In fact, let me close the X-plane. Minimize the X-plane window. That usually helps out. All right. Let's get ourselves lined up here. You can see our FBO right over there. Still got those horrible sounding brakes, so let's crank it up. Got plenty of fuel. Everything's in the green. A little bit of P factor there. And we're going to be on our way. Oh, flaps to first notch. Need that. Should have probably gone through the checklist, but I'm anxious to get in the air, so. And rotate. Okay, get to 85, flaps up, caps ready to go, just in case we need it. Nice feature of this plane, having that parachute. And we should be able to turn our autopilot on. Oh, it won't let you go until you hit a certain altitude. Remember that now. So let's get her up to, I think we have to be above 500 before it lets you turn the autopilot on. Which is something new in this release. They didn't do that before. You could turn it on immediately. It's nice to hand fly things, nice and smooth. Let's see if we can hit that now. There we go. Autopilot is on, and we are going to grab this GPS coordinate and make our way up to 5,000 feet. Saying about an hour and 38, although we're not at cruising speed yet, so we're probably going to cruise at about 155. A little faster because we'll be up a little bit higher than normal. Let's make sure we get the plane up there okay. Let's check her out from the outside. Nice. Over the Delaware countryside. A lot of horse farms in Delaware. When you fly over this, you can see right there, there's two horse tracks right there. Not many golf courses, but lots of horse farms. Delaware and Maryland. All right, making our way up to 5,000. Check our engine parameters here. Just go hit engine. Let's see. We're gonna lean this out as we get a little bit higher here. Right now we're hitting 17 gallons per hour, which is, you know, we're fine as far as our range goes, but we're gonna be able to pull that back once we get up to cruising altitude. Do love this plane. Fun to fly. And it just keeps getting better and better with every release. You got to give it to those guys. They really, vFlyteAir really sticks behind their products. That's what I like about it. And this is a plane I paid for. I didn't get this for free. It's very nice. Actually, let's let Delaware know. Delaware traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta departing the pattern to the west. Last call of Delaware. All right, so that's going to be it for there. So we might as well get ahead of the plane and let's figure out what our let's see, our ATIS is 120. We'll put that on COM 2. COM 1 is going to be 123. Set COM 1 to 123.0.
COM 1 set to 123.0.
And we want COM 2 to 120.125. COM 2 120.125.
Altitude 12,200 feet.
No. Altitude 5,000.
Altitude 5,000 feet.
Set COM 1 120.125.
COM 1 set to 120.825.
No.
Woodbine Muni weather.
Set COM 1 123. Set COM 1 to 123.
COM 1 set to 121.5.
Set COM 1 123.0.
COM 1 set to 123.0.
All right, now COM 2. Set COM 2 120.125.
COM 2 set to 120.125.
There you go. All right, so now we're set for ATIS at Garrett and our CTAF, so we'll be ready to go once we get there. Just a little bit of confusion. Probably switch our tank over to the right tank. Some things have changed. You used to have, like, you used to be able to click on that area and the tank would change. You have to now manually turn the switch. And but other than that, everything's pretty much the same. Not sure how much I like the X-Pad holder right there. I don't really use the X-Pad that much yet. I know there's been some enhancements to it. I just haven't really had a chance to look at them. Yeah, I've had some. I think it's more Windows. I don't think it's plane command. I don't think, because he hasn't changed anything. I think it's more Windows speech recognition that's causing those issues. Or let's get probably lean back here a little bit. And we'll bring the EGT up to about 1,000. Just leaning it back a little bit here. Once we get to
Flight 209er, clear for Victor 324.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Justin, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Once we get up to our cruising altitude here, we'll lean the plane out, fly a little bit more efficient. You can see getting really nice frame rates. Nice smooth flight. That mesh that you see, that blue mesh, is the warning from Oculus that I'm outside the play zone. That's because my chair back is hitting that. So let's fix that right now. There you go. Now I should. Oh. Yeah, I guess it's. I got it set pretty far back here. So let me see. Here we go. All right, we're gonna level off here at 5,000. And this plane usually starts to bring the feet per minute down as you get close, which is a nice feature. Doesn't do that on the Challenger. Challenger, you have to manually do that. All right, so we're going to start picking up some speed here now that we're leveling off at 5,000. And let's start to bring the EGT up. We can start to see that. Let's get our engine parameters here. We're doing 13, which is pretty reasonable. 11's very reasonable. And we're flying pretty damn efficient here. Keeping the power maxed here because I want to get there as quick as I can. But that should be just fine there. We should have plenty of fuel. And should have a nice smooth ride. All right, so yeah, it's very flat, but we're going to start to get into some the Appalachians here a little bit. So we'll start to see a little bit more mountainous terrain, which would be nice. All right, cool. So now that we've got our cruise going here, I'm going to keep an eye on things. We'll get that out of here. You guys can look in the upper left-hand corner and see where we are on the our ForeFlight. But let's talk about VR Aviation. Our wonderful group of over 60 pilots had a great month last month. First, let's talk about the contest. So we have a monthly contest where the pilots with the top 3 pilots with the top net income. Sorry, the top income from assignments win a nice percentage of the pie. So last month, MK84, he was the top pilot, and his prize was, let's see, 197,000 virtual dollars, which is great. Nelly was second place, and Nelly won 99K. And Crash was third in place, and he won 40K. Third place, 40K. So nice pot there for folks, for the folks that won. And actually, MK84 grossed over $1 million in income, which was pretty impressive. And I think it was probably our first pilot to hit $1 million. I don't think I've ever hit $1 million. I've come close. I don't remember, but come pretty close. Anyway, so very successful May contest. April contest. For May, we're kind of changing things up a little bit, and it's the same percentages. So top will get 10% of the net assignment income. So that's basically assignment income after all costs. Number 2 is going to get 5%. Number 3 is going to get 2%. And the little wrinkle we're going to add here is a couple things. First, you must have a minimum of a 30% profit margin to qualify for all your total flights, and we track that on our website, so you can go to the website, and I'll show you that in a second, and you can see where your profit margin is. So you want to fly as profitable flights as you can, but it's got to be at least 30% or above, hopefully above. But in addition to that, we're adding a $25,000 virtual dollar bonus to the pilot with the highest profit margin. Got to have a minimum of 10 flights for VR Aviation Group during the month to be eligible. So the pilot with the best profit margin, it may come down to decimal points, will win that 25,000 virtual dollars. So just an added wrinkle. So even if you don't fly a lot, if you fly 10 flights during the month, which you should be able to do, I mean, it's not too much time. If you fly profitable flights and you do at least 10 of them, you're eligible for that 25K, which is kind of cool. So that's the new wrinkles in the May contest. Let's see here. Hey Justin, you're asking what my setup is? Yeah, so you can look below in the description. It'll show you everything that I'm currently running, right? But I'm using an Oculus Rift, and if you look below, you can see in the description on Twitch, you can see exactly what my system is. Oh, MK is going back to Helos this month. All right. So with that, let's take a look at how we did financially. So let me go to banking. So right now, VR Aviation has about almost $2 million in cash, and probably getting ready to buy a plane. We can talk about it in a little bit, but we got almost $2 million in cash, which is nice. Let's take a look at the monthly statement. If we go back to May, our gross income was $5.6 million, which is awesome. And our net income was almost $2 million, 1.964, which is incredible. Okay. We had great rentals. We netted about 116,000 in aircraft rentals. We'll take a look at the FBOs in a second. So that's a really, really good month. So now, if you remember, what we did was we kind of changed things around where we put our FBOs in their own groups. So if we look at the monthly statement for Europe, which we no longer have Europe, and I'll talk about that in a second. Europe, we didn't do too great. We made $22,000 in FBO operations and about $1,800 in aircraft rental. If we go to the East, go back to the previous month, a little bit better there. We did $70,000 in FBO income, FBO income, which is nice. Total of 380 flights, which is great. And if I go to the West, previous month, we did 82,000, almost 83,000 in profitable FBO operation, and 290 flights. So quite a number of flights in the East and the West. And the reason why I mentioned France before, we decided to sell France, the France network, because for 3 weeks it really wasn't getting much activity, and it's a lot to manage 3 networks like that. It really is a lot to manage. So our thought was to sell it and to put that money into something else. Now the good news is that I think we paid altogether about $800K for all those France FBOs, and we sold them for 1.7. So we made a nice profit on that sale, which is great. And a lot of those profits we put towards the new FBO, which really kind of fills out the East, which is KWWD, which is Cape May, which is our first, well, I should say our second 3-lot FBO. We have one in the West already, KBTM, but now this becomes, KWWD becomes the center point of our Eastern network. And you can see we're starting to generate a lot of flights to our network, you know, through 33N, N57, RJD, 3N6, which is a nice little 2-lot airport we picked up in Old Bridge area, New Jersey, W00, N40, which is Sky Manor, VA57, P49, which is a nice little airport up in the Pocono Mountains, and what's the other one? KAKQ, which is down in Virginia, Wakefield Municipal in Virginia. So you can see from, if you look at the maps here, you can see, if you look at the Eastern Hub, we really have quite a nice network building up here, all honing into WWD. Now we do have some that come into 33N still. We're trying to, you know, make sure that we do things as efficiently as possible. But this is now a nice network, and there's some really cool areas to fly, especially, you know, what we tried to do is we tried to get FBOs up in the mountains up here so you can fly in some nice areas. You start to get in the Pocono Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains, and it's really nice. So we're still looking for more places out here, maybe even another 3-lotter. Yeah, so this network has grown quite a bit. BTM's pretty much stayed the same, except I think we added Big Sandy, if I remember correctly. Up here? No, maybe it's here. I can't remember where it is. Maybe this is it, 9U0. But we added, I know we added one last month, so this network is, you know, this is a great network too. It's got, I mean, if you look at the center point, which is BTM, Bert Mooney, a shit ton of assignments, pardon my French, but if you want to fly, we got some great planes there too. So you want to fly a Baron, you want to fly a C90, which was now added to the group's planes last month. We've got Caravans, we've got SR20 out there, we've got a Bravo, M20 Bravo, we've got Pipers, you know, a bunch of planes you can fly, and some really cool areas to fly in. Because you're up in the mountains in Montana. It's really cool place. It's a challenge to navigate because, you know, you're landing, you have to vector through mountains and make sure you get on the right, you know, get your approaches correctly with you know, high altitude terrain. So it's an interesting place to fly for sure. So anyway, so this network is a lot of fun. Make sure you check that out. So that's where we are FBO wise. And as I mentioned, France is no longer with us, but it left us with a profitable amount. So the other thing is too is Sapper has been very generous in helping the group. He's generated well over $1 million in in virtual dollars over the last month to help us expand things. So, and also added a bunch of aircraft. So let's take a look at the aircraft right now for VR Aviation. So we have the B1900D, which is the one that I'm leasing to
Caution,
the group.
TFR ahead.
We have a TFR, which we're high enough, we don't have to worry about it. This is I moved this from LaGuardia now to WWD because there's some nice flights that you can use that plane for. We've got 2 Barons, one at BTM, one at 33N. We may move the Baron to Cape May, but for now we'll keep it there. Got the King Air, so I'm just looking at the ads. The Challenger was added by Megaphone, I think it was last month, but still we got that Challenger that Megaphone has let the group use. And the rule on that is let's keep that within the West Coast Pilot Edge area, so basically, you know, west of the Rockies kind of thing. You know, BTM and west, I should say, right? So he doesn't want you flying it, you know, out of that region, which is understandable. So that's there for you Challenger pilots. 3 Skyhawks, 2 in the west, 1 in the east. May add another one in the east. 2 Caravans, both in the west. We may add one of these in the east. Got the SR20, which I'm flying right now. We've got a DC-3 in the west that donated by Sapper, leased to us. We got a Lockheed 130, C-130, if you want to fly one of those. We got 2 Bravos, PC-12 in Tampa, which is a great place to fly. That's a money maker in Tampa. If you want to make some quick money, you spend a Sunday afternoon flying that plane around, you can make yourself $100 grand real quick. Tri-Pacer and Warrior donated leases from Dan Rogie, and the Arrow from Megaphone, and then the Seneca from me. So Seneca's a nice 5-seat plane that we've got over at WWD. So if you get kind of bored of flying a Baron and you have a Seneca, you can fly that Seneca around, which is kind of cool. So lots of planes. I think 25 planes. So we're adding some all the time. We also have that Bell 407 chopper. You guys like to fly choppers? Pardon me. You can check that out at BTM. So that's pretty much it for the update. The group is doing very well, very sound. Oh, the other thing I wanted to, where can I get this? Let me go to the home page here. If I go to the reporter site and I bring up the current issue of the FSE reporter, if we scroll down here to the totals, you can see that behind Snack Air, VR Aviation is number 2 in top groups for flights. Almost 1,000 flights last month, which is awesome. And that's only with 33 pilots compared to their 123. Not to make this a competition, John Fly. That's not what I'm trying to do. But the nice thing is that we're staying in the top ranks of groups, which is really good, and we're generating the more, pardon me, the more revenue that we generate, the more we're going to be able to expand the group. So fantastic work, guys. All you guys flying, it's great. And hey, listen, we're all making money too. We make our pilot fees, but that money going to the group really helped things out. And I think what we're going to do is, now that well, I shouldn't say now, like in the near future, I'm not sure when, I'm going to judge it, we'll probably up the pilot rate from 50%, make it a little bit higher, because now that we're getting our FBO network established, we've got income coming from that, we've got airplane rental income coming from that, time maybe to give a little bit back. So maybe we'll go from, we're at 40% now. Are we at 40? I don't think we're at 40. Yeah, we're at 40. Maybe we'll go to 50. All right, in the near future. I'll have to look at the numbers and see how that ranks out, because the group does have to make some money, because when you rent a plane from the group, we're paying for gas, we're paying all the fees, the group is, that is, and so we have to make sure that flights are profitable for the group, so at least it's making some money. But by the same token, we want to make sure the pilots are making money too. So I think now that we're established, at some point in the near future, we'll probably kick it up to like 50%. So that's good. And speaking of the website, a couple of changes to the website. We changed the front picture, which is now the Challenger with the VR Aviation livery. You can get this on X-Plane.org if you want. Pretty cool. And we got rid of the France network here, so that's pretty much the same. If you're interested in getting any of the
TFR
liveries,
ahead.
then you can just go to the livery page and just click on any one of these pictures, and it'll take you right to the X-Plane.org site, where you can download that livery. In fact, when I do a livery, I try to record it, so I put up a stream on how I painted it and stuff. If you want to watch that, that's on YouTube too. So that's that. And then we have our report, which is great information. I believe it's updated every couple of hours. Yeah, so this will give you a good feeling of where everyone stands as far as number of flights, income, and profit margin. This is what we'll use to figure out that profit margin bonus. So FBO network, we made some modifications to that, but like I said, we've expanded the east and the west a little bit, and we'll continue to do that. So, all right, so that's the group update. If you guys have any questions, let me know in chat. Oops. Get back to that. Yeah, exactly, MK. That I was, you know, this is the second month in a row we're number 2 behind Snack Air. Snack Air is big, right? They've got over 100 pilots, and they do a great job. But you know, for the size of us, we're doing really, really well. Yeah, we got the C-130 if you want to check that out. Let's see how we. Oh, look at, isn't that nice? Now we're going to start to get a little bit more mountainous terrain now here. Let's see. Probably should switch our tanks. So what you want to do is grab that and turn it. Turn your wrist, just like you would do in real life. Pretty much everything now in this plane in VR is as you would do in real life. I'm just cranking the mixture up a little bit just to get a little bit more speed out of this plane. Because we've got plenty of juice. Let's just check and see. Yeah, 314 miles. So we've got 112 left to go to Jackson. We've got 117 left total. We got about a little bit over, about 45 minutes left in the flight here. Yeah, frame rates are great here, aren't they? Wow. In the last, with the release candidates, from release candidate 2 and on, I noticed a real improvement in X-Plane VR frame rates. That micro stuttering that you were getting when you looked out the left window is pretty much gone. Every once in a while you get it, but it's pretty much been eliminated, which is awesome. Take a look at the outside here. Oops. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a VR aviation livery for the SR20. I think that's might be my next project. Still one of my favorite planes. I think if I had to narrow it down to 3 planes I like the most flying in VR, it would be this one. It would be the Challenger 300. And let me think. And the AFM Mooney, the Aviation 3. I like flying that plane. It's a fun plane to fly. It's kind of like a God view here, you know. That's pretty cool. Check that out. That's pretty cool. I mean, you still get a little bit of stutter there, but it's manageable. Wow, that's kind of weird in VR, I gotta tell you. Let's get back in that plane there. Yeah, I had to think, man. I can't make that decision hastily. I really do like that Mooney. It's a, you know, I like planes that in VR when you fly them, you get a real sense that you're in an aircraft, you know. And even though I've never flown a general aviation aircraft, I've flown in them, so I know what that's like. I know what that feeling is like. And those 3 I mentioned, well, the Challengers are in a different class, I guess, but the SR20 and the Mooney, they give you that feeling in VR, you know? They really do. I mean, I would say that the Cessna 172 gives you the feeling, too. That's a nice plane in VR. It is. It really is. But those other 2, to me, I think are my favorite. Now, obviously, I don't own every plane that's available in VR. Like there's Just Flight planes and some other ones that I'm sure are really, really nice. But those are out of the ones that I own, the ones I like the most. Bug Eater, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Happy Sunday. Here in the States, it's Sunday morning. Going up to, what time we got here? Just about 10 a.m., a little after 10 a.m. Sunday morning. We're on our flight to Garrett, Maryland, which is northwestern Maryland. One of our new FBOs. You're gonna love. This is a cool airport. It's not quite like Telluride, but it's a plateau airport where, you know, the strip is on top of like a mesa. I guess it's a mesa they call it, which is a plateau, and it's pretty cool. So you guys check that out. And actually, the way I found this airport was, I was flying back from Morganville in West Virginia. I used to, before we owned KWWD, I used to fly the B1900D back and forth from WWD to MGW, 200 and something miles, because you could fill the plane with 19 passengers both ways and make a nice crop of money, right? And on one of the trips back from Morganville, West Virginia, I flew over this airport. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I looked on ForeFlight. Let me check out that airport and see what it is. It was Garrett. It was 2G, or I guess it's Jarrett, 2G4. And I looked at it, and thankfully, it was available in FSC. So I basically built it out real quick and gave ourselves another Western place to fly. So it's kind of cool. Beautiful morning in upstate North South Carolina, preparing for RV for, oh, nice. You're taking the RV to the West Coast. That's awesome, man. So, MK, yours are the Bell 429, which I've actually flown. It's pretty cool. The Mooney and the DC-3. Okay. Yeah, I haven't flown the DC-3. Maybe I would love it if I fly it, but it just doesn't. The old planes don't appeal to me for some reason. You know, the older planes. I like the newer planes with the. You know, I'm like kind of like a glass cockpit kind of person. You know, I tend to lean towards having the G1000, like using Laminar's G1000, when you can zoom in, you can see the orientation of the runway and stuff like that. To me, that's like all really helpful stuff, and just makes flying more fun. But a lot of people love that DC-3. You know, I know Sapper like flies that thing constantly. But it's certainly a great cargo plane, that's for sure. But to make money with that thing in FSC, though, I think you have to own it, because they charge so much to rent that plane. But I like the Challenger because, you know, you can get those $20,000 cargo jobs with it, you know, at 5,500 miles or so, and get there really pretty quick and make good money with it. I mean, a day of flying in that plane, and you can make yourself $100 grand real quick. So that's what's nice about it. I actually have two of them now. I've got one on the West Coast, sorry, one on the East Coast, which was my original one, and I use that to build out FBOs and stuff like that when, you know, you guys aren't available to help do that. And other stuff, I fly, you know, cargo flights. And I bought another one when FSC flooded the market with with Challengers. I got one for like $920,000 or something, and I flew that to the West Coast, and I used that for cargo runs in the West Coast. I actually was renting the West Coast one, and some interesting person rented it. I think MK, you know the guy. His name is Iceman85 or Iceman45. I can't remember which. He rented the plane. He put $7,000 worth of fuel in it, and he flew it 130 miles to Long Beach from San Diego. And I'm saying, I look at the plane. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? It's got 1,600 gallons of fuel in it. You can't put any cargo in it. And then I look a little bit further, and I find another plane that he did the same thing with. He filled with gas and never even flew it. And MK said there's a couple of them. Yeah, Niceman 85. There's a couple of them that he's done that to. So maybe this guy's got this fetish to go around and fill Challengers with, you know, fuel so that no one can add cargo to him. I mean, I banned the guy from renting, but I took my Challenger off the rental because, you know, it gets to a point where, you know, how much do you make renting, right? 800 an hour. So if someone rents it for 3 hours, you're gonna make $2,400. I mean, you know, I've got enough in my account. I've got enough planes where I'm at the point where renting a plane by the hour is not really exciting, right? Leasing a plane to someone might be exciting because you can get a monthly and then you don't care what they do with it, right? But renting a plane by the hour, it's kind of, once you start to get some money and some assets in FSE, it becomes kind of uninteresting if you ask me. Bonsai is, I guess it's Bonsai, right? How you doing, man? So I took my Challenger off the market. Let me think about where I am here, because I'm going to have to descend a little bit. I'm coming into Garrett at 3,000 on my altitude, so I want to probably get down to 4,500. I'm at 5 now. If I go here, my highest peaks are going to be, I'm going to be okay here. I get a little higher here at 3,000, 3,200. So I can come down to 4,500. And that gives me 1,500 feet on my approach. So that should be good. So I'm going to come down to 45. Altitude 4,500.
Altitude 4,500 feet.
All right, so let's get to vertical speed. We're going to go down. We'll go down slow, 300 feet per minute. We don't need to go fast. So yeah, I just don't think I'm going to be renting that plane. If I just, now we already have a Challenger that Megaphone has released to the group, so we don't really need another Challenger, which is nice of him. But if I decide at some point to lease it to the group, then I'll probably put a rent on it then, because then it'll generate money for the group. But you know, I'm just keeping it for my own use. That's the way I look at it. Now, what I was thinking about doing is I've got an SR20 in Hawaii that I had carted up. I don't know if you remember, months ago I flew it across country to California. I carted it up and I hired a guy. At the time I didn't have any planes other than the SR20. I hired a guy to fly it with a Challenger to Hawaii, and then it got there and I uncrated it. So it's sitting there in Hawaii. It's nice to have it in Hawaii, but I was actually thinking about crating it up and flying my Challenger out to Hawaii, picking it up and bringing it back to California, and starting to use the SR20 for pilot edge. Because now that with 2.6 of the SR20, the systems are working much better. I think it's more reliable to use with pilot edge. So get back into pilot edge, GA flying, and specifically use the SR20 as my plane, right? Find a home place where I'm going to keep it and fly out of there, and just you know, get back into practicing you know, real world flying with the SR20. So something I may do. The cost of that would be about 10 grand to cart it up. And then it's going to cost me gas to fly 2,200 miles to Hawaii to pick it up and gas back. So, you know, you're probably talking about 12,000 in gas or 10,000 in gas. 10,000 to crate it up, so 20K. I bring the plane back, and right now, no one's going to buy it while it's in Hawaii. It's nice to have it in Hawaii, but there's other planes in Hawaii I can rent to fly around Hawaii. I think it would be better served to have it in the West Coast. So that's probably something I'm going to do. I got that in the back of my mind to do. So anyway, look out for that. So but now that I have the Challenger, it'll be kind of cool to do a 2,200-mile flight to go pick that thing up, you know. Oh, I lost my chat window. Go to desktop, monitor. I'm gonna grab that. Doesn't look like it's working. Okay, close that. Close that. But if you're an old piston head, you like the DC3, PMDG DC6, and the 739. Oh, freeware. Okay, cool. Yeah. I guess we all have the things we like. You know, some people like the choppers, some people like the more modern planes. I tell you what I hope, and I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. If FSE gets the Diamond DA62, I guess it is, that 5-seater, that plane would be awesome to have in FSE. It really would. I'd buy that thing in a second. I don't own it. I'm tempted to buy it. I may buy it because it looks very cool. But I like planes that I can. FSE is the main thing for me in flight simming. I guess I would fly it at Pilot Edge too, but it would be kind of cool to have that in FSE because you're limited in FSE for 5. Is it 5 or 6 passengers? I think it's 5 passengers. You're limited with 5-passenger planes, and 5 passengers is a nice number for like those small airports. You know, like the Baron 58, right? Or like the Seneca. Those are good planes, 5 passengers, and you can make nice money on the 5-passenger routes. You can see it happening with the DA62. Pretty sure the numbers would catch up as soon as it. Yeah, the problem is, MK, I think it's only like it's under 20 planes now that have been produced. And if you look at like the Cirrus Vision Jet, it's well over 50 planes in production, and FSC hasn't added that yet. So I don't know how long they're going to take. They move at a snail's pace, you know, seems. Oh, now the French network's all of them going nomad in the 529 to see where it's not. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry about that, Crash. It's just that, you know, we just weren't getting the revenue from it, and we just kind of thought that it would be better to put that money into something else, you know, aircraft or building out the other networks. Problem in France is that it'd be impossible to get a 3-lot FBO, and you really have to have a 3-lot FBO to build out a network, because otherwise you just don't get the assignments generated. Yeah, I know you did. I think you actually voted for that. So, but I was happy that we made 900 grand on it. That was pretty cool. You know, that was pretty cool. Let me see if I can fix this. I'm having problems here with the chat. Let me see if I can get that working again here. Hold on. Yeah, for some reason I can't bring up the chat window with Dash. So, oh well. All right, now we're starting to come into the. I guess it's the It might be the Alleghenies, but I'm not sure. I think it might be the Allegheny Mountains, maybe Appalachian Mountains. I don't know. Oh, I don't know when we got that. Let me clear that. All right, time to switch over our tanks. Gotta be careful when you do this so you don't switch them to off, because that wouldn't be good. Even though you would still have one working out, I think that would be fine. 24 minutes to our turn point, so we're getting there. Hey, so since I streamed, Oculus Go is released. It's interesting. Not quite, certainly not a X-Plane VR HMD, but looks pretty cool for 200 bucks. It's a standalone. I think of it as a smartphone VR system without the smartphone. That's basically what it is. But I think it's got some pretty cool games like that new, what is that? Beat Saber? Looks like a pretty cool game where you used lightsabers and you basically chop up these blocks that come to you at a beat. It's sort of like Guitar Hero, if you will, where there you use a guitar and switches, but here you've got sabers in your hand with your touch controllers and you're slicing them as they come to you. It looks pretty cool, and I think that works on it. Doesn't have controllers, doesn't have positional tracking. 200 bucks, but I'm sure it's cool for smartphone type games. It's not going to have a lot of horsepower because you don't have a PC with a big GPU behind it. But for mobile VR, for watching videos or movies and stuff like that, it looks like a pretty cool thing. I'm not sure I'm going to buy one because I spend so much time with the Rift that I'm not sure I would really use it at all, and I don't travel that much, so it doesn't really fit my use case. But a lot of people are pretty excited about it. If anything, hopefully it'll help to move the VR awareness ahead, and get more people into it, which would be pretty cool. Beat Saber. Yeah, I think it's on Oculus Go. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure I saw that it was on Go. Beat Saber. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I thought for sure. Oh wait, Oculus Go launch. Hold on. I thought for sure I saw one. Somebody playing it on the go. Oh, I thought for sure I saw someone playing that with the Oculus Go. Yeah, there's one guy who's modded it, so he has like the Darth Maul type saber, which is pretty cool. Check out this link here. I'm gonna put this here. This is pretty cool. This guy's using like a Darth Maul saber. Yeah, I thought I saw someone using the Go with it. Maybe I could be wrong. It could have been just one of those BS Facebook pages posts, but anyway, it looks pretty cool. I was thinking about buying it, and it looks like quite a workout for sure. You're probably gonna have a little bit of rhythm to use it. Wait, first look. Hold on. Yeah, I can't find it. Oh well. All right, so don't quote me on that one. Maybe it doesn't work for Go, but certainly for Oculus Rift, and worth checking out for sure. Yeah, for 200 bucks, get yourself into VR and be able to play some pretty cool games, and watch all those 360 videos, which to me they don't look fantastic, but is what it is, I guess. All right, getting into some mountain views here, some nice painted mountains in ortho. Looks like the fall type pictures here. Sorry, guys, just thinking and taking in the scenery. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get this FBO out here, because it gives you a little bit more of more texture to flight in the landscape, especially in VR. You get those nice green hills, which looks really, really cool. Yeah, I thought for sure I saw on Facebook. Let me just look here. I thought for sure I saw someone playing Beat Saber with this go, but I guess I'm wrong about that. Yeah, so there's some people that are saying that Oculus Go, because it's a 3 degrees of freedom, right? Doesn't have positional tracking. Good morning, Blazing Monk. How you doing? Doesn't have positional tracking. 3 degrees of freedom. Hey, Crash. Thanks for the Twitch Prime subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Appreciate the support, dude. Thank you. Because it's not really full-featured VR, right? It's basically, it's like I said, it's smartphone VR without the smartphone. You know, Oculus figured out a way to do that, which is kind of cool. They've got, I don't know what chip they're using there, but they've got, you know, it's basically a small computer, and it's a small VR system, self-contained. But it's limited. You know, it's not going to have all the capabilities that you're used to with Rift, you know, or Vive. So, you know, you understand that. And I guess, you know, it's probably a good Christmas present kind of thing. Yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess I was wrong about that. So I take that back. You cannot play Beat Saber with the Go. Even so, that picture that I saw, I guess I was waking up this morning, I was looking at Facebook.
Garrett Co-weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 9. Dew point -16. Altimeter 2992.
Okay, that's not us. I want to go to, I want to switch to com.
Garrett Co-weather.
Oh, there's Garrett.
Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 9, dew point -16. Altimeter 2992.
Okay, so I got, let's figure out where we're going to be landing here. Let me figure that out here. All right, so we're going to be coming in straight approach, landing to runway 27. Easy peasy. So we'll want to announce to Garrett, and let's see if I pronounced that correctly. Yeah, exactly. It's smartphone VR without the smartphone clunkiness. You don't have to pop your smartphone in there. I mean, it's a smart thing to do, you know. Not to use the word smart 5,000 times. But it's a under the Christmas tree kind of gift that, you know, I look at smartphone VR, don't crucify me, as sort of a novelty. It's a novelty, right? Maybe there's some things you could do with it that are practical, but it's more of a novelty. You know, you can't really get into functional virtual reality unless you've got 6 degrees of freedom and you've got touch control and that kind of, you know, motion control and that kind of thing. So you want full VR, you got to buy a PC and, you know, get a Rift Vive or mixed reality or Samsung Odyssey or one of those. Anyway, but let's talk about Vive Pro. The Vive Pro hubbub has kind of died down a little bit. I think people realized the price was really high for what you get in improvement, and you know, it's not practical, especially if you already have a big investment. You know, a lot of people, most people in the market, maybe not most, but a lot of people purchase their Vive and their Rift at the $800 mark, for the controller and the headset. So, you know, you've got a lot invested in that, and to go to another system that doesn't give you a lot of return, kind of hard to do, you know. So I'm not sure how well the Vive. Sure as hell, the buzzes died down for sure, very quickly actually. So I'm not sure how well that's doing. There was some news too about Pimax since I last streamed. Pimax has downgraded their refresh rate to 80. Is it 80 or 85 hertz? Which to me could cause a real problem with motion sickness, right? Because usually you know, most people would tell you that you want 90 frames per second in an HMD, so that, you know, your brain is not slowed down by, you know, catching frame flickering, I guess, or whatever the reason is that causes sim sickness. I could tell you for sure that when I've used a Rift and frames in the headset have dropped below 80, it's definitely made me feel woozy. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect them. And I think they also announced another delay in their production. So, you know, I'm not going to bash Pimax. I'm not here to do that, but knowing a little bit about their history and kind of how, you know, like they call the 2K a 4K and they call a 4K an 8K, and it's not really accurate model naming. You know, gives people the wrong impression. I'm kind of suspect of them. You know, I personally wouldn't invest the money in a company like that until I knew it was proven and that it was working. I would rather invest money in HTC or Oculus when it comes to VR, because, you know, let's face it, Oculus has been doing it for, you know, close to a decade, really, right? So they've got a lot of IP in VR, you know. Not to say that Pimax doesn't have, you know, the brain power and the talent to produce a solid HMD. I'm just not sure I'm buying it yet, right? When I say buying it, I mean believing. So, and you can see now, slowly but surely, they're kind of pulling back all those claims. So be very careful with that. My advice is be very careful. And don't forget, the big thing that maybe a lot of people don't realize is that you want to use that system, you're going to have to equip a PC with a pretty powerful CPU, and they're saying 2 1080 Ti's or the next gen GPU. So, you know, you're talking about a very substantial system for that, and I don't know. I think it's something that we need to prove out, to wait and see, you know, that they produce something that's functional. Certainly, the alpha model that they delivered to some people like Linus and others, Tech Tips and other people, you know, wasn't stellar, you know. But anyway, I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have backed that. And I'm not saying you did the wrong thing. I'm just saying that personally, I didn't see. I didn't have the confidence in the company to do that. So, my 2 cents on that. Oh, you have 2 arcades in town. Cool. Yeah, they're both. Yeah, the Rift and Vive are what you're going to see most of. You know. There's good activity games. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I guess it's, like I said, it's entry level. It's kind of entry level VR, you know. Give me 1 second, guys. So anyway, It's funny, you know, I gotta be honest with you, I'm satisfied with Rift the way it is. I mean, yeah, okay, it's a little blurry, okay, but you know what? To me, it's for VR flight sims, it's great, you know. Yeah, it would be nice to have a little higher density graphics, to have things clear, a little clearer, you know. But it's fine, you know. I mean, to me, what I would like to see is more improvements on the X-plane side, you know, as they're doing to try to get the frame rate smoother, to try to make it, you know, uh, going to like Vulcan so that we can up the graphics quality. I mean, I think you'll see a big difference. You know, right now, at least for me, I'm running everything at like high. Okay, I can't run it at ultra because of the way, you know, because of the limitations of OpenGL, right? So I think you're going to see once Vulkan is implemented, if for those of us like me, for you guys like me who are into VR aviation with X-Plane, I think once we see Vulkan implemented fully, you're going to be able to crank. If you're able to crank up the graphics, the textures, and the image quality, you're going to see some improvements. You know. So it's so with VR aviation, it's a combination, right? It's the headset and it's the software you're using, right? So I think, you know, I'm hoping that right there is going to prove to be an enhancement without having to spend $800 on a new HMD system. All right, so we've got 7 miles to go to our first. Sorry, 20 miles to go to our first turn. 7 minutes. We've got a total of 26 to Garrett or Jarrett. So when we get to 20, I'm gonna do we'll do a CTAF announcement, let people know that we're coming into the area. Get myself straightened out here. Yeah, I mean, Laminar has said by the end of 2018. Well, we're almost at mid-2018. And I also remember hearing Ben from Laminar saying that it is being implemented. You know, they're doing the building blocks in all these releases. I think VR was one of the things that so it's not like it's going to be one big swoop of a change. He's basically saying that they're doing it over time. So I think it's probably small increments that we're going to see over the next 6 to 8 months. And like B2 said, maybe it's, you know, fully implemented in 2019 at some point. But, you know, I think we're starting to see some of the effects now. You know, certainly, if you compare X-Plane 11 to where it was a year ago, the flight experience has improved immensely. I would say just for 2D flyers, right? For VR flyers in the last, we're now 5 months into VR with X-Plane 11, the improvements are astonishing. You think back to when it first came out, right? And where we are now. I mean, here we're in a third-party plane in pretty, you know, complex scenery, flying in pretty smooth frame rates, right? At texture high and at visuals high. So that's pretty damn good. So they're definitely making improvements, and I pretty much believe that has something to do with
Destination AWAS is 120.125.
Thank you. We got that already. It has to do with them slowly implementing Vulkan. Let's get our COM 2.
Garrett co-weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 9, dew point -16. Altimeter 2992.
Alright, we're good there. Okay, pretty calm. We're in runway 27. So, air traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta. We are 20 miles west of the airport at 4,500. We'll be landing at Garrett, runway 27, straight in approach, full stop landing. Garrett. Alright, now they know we're coming. 18 miles, so we were close. Now we're going to be about 1,500 feet above the deck. When we get there, as you'll see, it's a plateau landing, which is pretty cool. So we should be fine to go. And we got our weather. We got the area knows we're coming, and everything's hunky-dory. Let's get our gas switched over to the left tank. Yeah, so sorry I haven't streamed a lot, guys. It's just been a hectic time for me. Some of it, a lot of it, family and personal related. Everything's cool. But also baseball season. You know, I'm an avid Yankee fan. I watch pretty much every game. So, and those games are at night during the week. So it's kind of, you know, kind of cuts into the stream time. But I'm streaming more. I'm making a dedication to at least once a week, probably twice a week. You know, we'll make sure we do that once during the week and once on the weekends. We're going to try to keep that schedule. So, all right. So we've got 14 miles from Garrett. We'll let them know at 10. Again, we'll do another announcement at 10. So we could probably go to checklist here. Let's go to checklist and go to next. For descent, set altimeter, which we're good there. Cabin defrost, okay, we don't need that. Landing lights are on. Okay, fuel system is okay, and brake pressure is good. All right, so we're good there for descent. For landing, we're going to fasten our seatbelts, what they are fastened. Fuel pump to boost, we'll make sure we do that. Mixture full rich, we'll do that, and we'll use our flaps as required, and we're going to turn off the autopilot. Balked landing and around, autopilot disengaged. Power level full, flaps at 50% to give you the lift. Airspeed, let's see, best angle of climb is, let's see, what does that say? 81 to 83 KIAS. And then after clear of obstacles, flaps up. All right. All right, so we're good there. So let's get rid of our checklist. Just make sure we put that fuel pump to boost. All right, MK, take care, man. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate that. Thanks, Bug Eater. I appreciate that. It's I've been in the air. I have been flying. I just haven't been streaming. So, but I'm going to make a commitment to do more of that. All right, let's see. We're 9 miles. So, Garrett traffic, Garrett traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta. We are 9 miles west of the airport. We'll be approaching runway 27 from the west with a full stop landing, Garrett. All right. Everything's good to go. Got our gas to the left tank, which is what we want. Got plenty of gas. We know where we're going to be altitude-wise. We're going to be landing at a strip that's about 3,000 feet. And we should be able to pick it up pretty soon. Once we make our turn here at Jackson, we should be able to pick up the airfield. Beautiful day in western Maryland. Now this airport's pretty close to Pittsburgh. I was actually thinking about the next move for our eastern network is to find a hub somewhere out here, like a 3-lot hub somewhere out here to buy. Unfortunately, there's none of them available, so you have to sort of like work with people. It took me almost 3 months to get the group to sell us WWD. I had to do a lot of a lot of influencing and convincing to get them to give it to us. Let's zoom in here. There's our airfield. All right, good. We're going to take this off autopilot now. Start this, get that mixture in, get that fuel pump to boost. And we're going to start the descend here. Bring our throttle back. Air traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta. We are 3 miles west of the airport on final approach, runway 27, full stop landing. Garrett. All right, we want to bring that speed down to about 110 to get those flaps in. So let me get my trim up. I might have to go around here if I can't slow this plane down. There we go. All right, let me get that first notch in there. A little early, but it'll start to slow down now. We're going to get down to 120. And then second notch.
500.
Coming a little hot here, but I should be able to slow her down. This is a little hot for a Cirrus, but hopefully not how I would do it by the book. All right, there you go. And normally I want to be coming in there at about 80 knots, 85 knots, and then, you know, flare it up. And then cut the throttle down. So that was not your standard SR20 landing there, but got the job done. I wouldn't call that a successful. I would call it a successful landing, but I wouldn't call it a textbook landing. All right, let's get to our taxiway. Clean up the flaps. Turn that fuel pump off. Fuel pump off? I don't think that works. Fuel pump off. No. That's something we need in plane command. Fuel pump. Air traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta. We are clearly active. Taxiing to GA parking, Garrett. Let's get that fuel pump off. Okay. What'd you guys have to say about that landing? Oh, no comments? All right. Let's get over to our GA parking. Always kind of weird for me to steer it in VR from that perspective. All right, here we go. It's a nice little airport. You can see it's like on a plateau, which is kind of cool. It's got some nice scenery to it. Highly recommend taking a flight out here, picking up some passengers at the 33N, or I think 3N6 is another. Sorry, yeah, 3N6 is another one you can go to. There's the administrative building. Just gonna park it right here. Set parking brake.
Parking brake set.
All right, let me turn. And FSEconomy. Yeah, I'm on the ground, right? It wasn't a great landing though. That's not how I want to land at SR20. All right, finish that. So let's turn this plane off. I'm gonna fly this thing back to some other point. So let me get my. That's off. Let's see. Let's get the lights off. I should have turned the key off. See, this is what I don't like. Like, you have to get the perfect wrist movement. Come on. Battery off. Come on. Battery off.
Brakes released.
No. All right, screw it. See, it's like you have to get the perfect. This one, like this one works. It's easy tilt. Same exact hand motion, and this one doesn't turn off. So I don't know what it is, but something they have to fix. Anyway, be that as it may, let's check out FSEconomy. I agree. I prefer the mouse click zones. You could use the touch controller with. Let's get to FSEconomy, see how we did. Not going to make a lot of money here, but go to log, VR Aviation. There's our SR20. All right, we made $400 for the group. I'm going to get this distance bonus back from the group when I fly back. And so that should be fine. So still made 500, and we'll make this back for the group when we get back there. But anyway, it was a pleasant flight out to Garrett County Airport, one of our new FBOs. And guys, I appreciate you guys watching today. That's going to do it for me. I got to go walk the dog. So in any event, I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and we'll be back probably during the week with another stream. And if you haven't joined VR Aviation, make sure you go to FSEconomy and do a search on the VR Aviation group. Hit that join button and join up the group and join 60+ pilots that are all interested in the same thing, having fun. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.